There comes a moment in every person's life when they realize the life they want is waiting just on the other side of a single decision. Imagine standing at the edge of a wide-open arena. The gates are open. The crowd is waiting. And in the center of that arena is the life you've dreamed about. But here's the thing, no one is coming to push you in. No one is going to shout, "Now is your time." You have to walk in on your own. And what if I told you that the only thing stopping you from stepping into that arena is how you see yourself right now? Part 1. Step into the arena, the foundation of change. There was a young man I once met. Let's call him Jack. Jack was smart, capable, and full of potential. He had big ideas and a good heart. But year after year, nothing in his life seemed to change. He'd wake up, go to work, come home, sleep, and repeat. And deep down, he wondered, is this really all there is? One night, after a long day, Jack sat down at his kitchen table and stared at the wall. Something inside him felt tired, not just his body, but his spirit. And a quiet voice whispered something he hadn't heard in years. "This can't be all you were made for." That was the beginning, not some grand moment, not a breakthrough in a crowded room. Just a quiet whisper in the stillness of his own doubt. And it got louder. We've all had that moment, haven't we? The one where you look around and realize you're watching life instead of living it. You've seen other people take risks, chase dreams, rise from nothing, and something inside you whispers, "That could be me." But maybe you ignored that voice. You told yourself, "It's not the right time. I don't have what it takes. What if I fail?" And so, like Jack, you stayed outside the gates, close enough to see your dream, but not close enough to claim it. That's where most people live their whole lives, outside the arena. Napoleon Hill once said, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve." But belief is not just about thinking big thoughts. It's about how you carry yourself, even when your life doesn't look like the dream yet. Let me tell you what Jack did next. He stood up from that table, walked to his bathroom mirror, and looked himself dead in the eyes. And he said something he hadn't dared to say before. "I am ready." He didn't feel ready. He didn't look ready. But he spoke it anyway. And that moment, that was Jack's step into the arena. Stepping into the arena doesn't mean you suddenly become fearless. It means you act despite the fear. It means you stop waiting for the perfect moment. You stop looking for permission. You stop hoping someone will choose you. You choose yourself. You walk forward with shaking hands if you have to, but you walk. Because this life will not wait for you. Let me share with you a truth that changed my life. You don't become strong and then take action. You take action, and that's how you become strong. When you begin to act like you are already the person you're meant to be, not because you're pretending, but because you're preparing for it to be true, something powerful begins to happen. You wake up different. You speak with more certainty. You don't wait for praise or validation. You begin to build a quiet strength inside. I, Napoleon Hill, have interviewed hundreds of the most successful people in history: Carnegie, Edison, Ford, and here's what they all had in common. They didn't wait until they felt confident to begin. They didn't wait for the world to recognize them. They decided. They moved. And their belief caught up later. The truth is, most people won't believe in you until you believe in yourself first. And that belief? It doesn't need to be loud. It can be quiet. It can be private. It just needs to be real. It can sound like, "I'm scared, but I'll try anyway. I've failed before, but I'm still here. I don't know how, but I will figure it out." This is how champions begin, not with applause, but with quiet resolve. When you see someone standing tall, winning, succeeding, remember this. They were once just like you, unsure, afraid, wondering if they belong. But they stepped forward, and that single step changed everything. So now I ask you, what are you waiting for? A sign? A perfect plan? Someone to choose you? The arena is open. The gates are wide. But no one is coming to drag you in. You must choose yourself. You must act as if the dream is already possible. Because it is. In the next chapter, we'll talk about vision. How to build a picture of your future so powerful, it pulls you forward even when the world tries to hold you back. But for today, do one thing. Decide. Decide to step into the arena. Megaphone call to action. End of part 1. If something stirred inside you today, don't let it fade. Share this video. Subscribe for the full 6-part journey. And remember, you are meant for more. Step forward, and don't look back. Would you like me to continue with part 2? Make vision your compass. Next, keeping the same voice and style? Part 2, Fail Forward with Purpose. The secret strength behind every success. Direct hit hook, the opening minute. The world never sees the number of times you fell, only the time you rose and kept walking. What if the most painful moment in your life wasn't the end? What if it was the very beginning of your transformation? Most people are afraid of failure. But what if I told you, failure is not your enemy, it's your training ground? The question isn't will you fall? The question is, what will you do when you do? There was a young woman named Clara. She had an idea. A bold one. A handmade business she dreamed of launching from her garage. She saved up, bought supplies, spent every spare moment designing, building, hoping. Finally, she opened her small online store. She sold 2 items. Then nothing. Days passed. Then weeks. No orders. No emails. Just silence. The same silence many people hear after their first attempt fails. Clara felt embarrassed. Ashamed. Her family didn't say much, but the silence felt louder than any words. She wanted to quit. But then something strange happened. She asked herself, what if this isn't failure? What if this is feedback? And that question changed everything. I, Napoleon Hill, have studied failure more than most people have dared to face it. Every great man and woman I've spoken to, from Edison to Ford, they all had one thing in common. They did not fear failure. They studied it. They respected it. And they used it. That's what Clara did. She didn't delete her website or throw out her supplies. She studied what didn't work. She rewrote her product descriptions. She took better photos. She asked her few customers for honest feedback. Then she launched again. This time, she sold 7. It wasn't much, but it was a beginning. To fail forward means you stop treating mistakes like dead ends. It means you fall, but you refuse to stay down. You treat every misstep like a stepping stone, like a young rider falling off a horse again and again, only to get back up, brush off the dust, and try again. You ride closer to mastery each time. That's how skill is built. That's how confidence is earned, not by never failing, but by growing stronger through failure. The world tells you that failure is shameful, but I tell you this. Failure is proof that you are trying. Failure is evidence of movement. Only those who stay on the sidelines avoid failure. And you, my friend, were never meant for the sidelines. So what do you do when you fall? First, don't take it personally. You are not a failure. You experienced a failure. There's a big difference. Second, ask the right questions. What did I learn? What could I do differently next time? Write it down. Study it. Third, act again. Don't wait until the sting fades. Use what you learned to move forward smarter, sharper, stronger. Clara's story is not unique. Every artist, leader, inventor, and builder you admire, all of them have closets full of failed attempts. What separates them from the rest? They didn't let failure make them smaller. They let it shape them into someone stronger. Let me tell you something I've learned through years of research and interviews. People don't fail because they aren't good enough. They fail because they give up too soon. They confuse a hard season with a dead end. They feel embarrassed, so they retreat. But the truth is, pain is part of the process. It's where real growth happens. If you let it teach you, failure becomes your greatest mentor. Now I want you to imagine something. You've just tried something new, maybe a job interview, a speech, a project. It didn't go well. You feel small. You feel like hiding. You hear that inner voice say, "See? You weren't ready." But instead of retreating, you do something different. You pause, you breathe, you say to yourself, "Okay, that didn't go how I wanted, but I'm still here. I'm still learning. I'm not done." That moment, that exact choice, is where most people stop. But you move forward. That's what it means to fail with purpose. But success doesn't only depend on how you handle failure. It also depends on who you surround yourself with. And that brings us to the next lesson. Surround yourself with power. Let me tell you the truth about people. They are either fueling your vision or fighting it. Think about it. Have you ever walked into a room and shared an idea? Something big. Something close to your heart, and the people around you laughed? Shrugged? Told you it was too much? How did you feel? Small? Unsure? Like maybe your dream was foolish? Now imagine the same moment. But this time, someone leans forward and says, "That's powerful. What's your next step? How can I help?" Same idea. Entirely different belief. That's the power of being in the right room. You become like the people you spend the most time with. If you surround yourself with doubt, laziness, or fear, you will slowly begin to carry their habits. But if you place yourself near people of discipline, vision, and purpose, you rise. It's not about arrogance. It's about alignment. You have a future to protect. You have potential to build. And for that, you must choose your circle carefully. Even if you don't have that circle yet, don't worry. Start by becoming that kind of person yourself. Speak life into others. Encourage greatness. Practice discipline. Dream big and act boldly. When you grow, your circle grows with you. Direct it. Final thoughts. Failure will come. That's not a threat, it's a promise. But how you use it, that is what defines you. Fail forward. Fail boldly. And fail with purpose. Because every time you fall and rise, you don't just get stronger. You get closer to the person you were meant to become. In part 3, we'll dive deep into one of the most powerful tools you'll ever carry, your inner voice. We'll learn how to master it, train it, and make it your greatest ally. But for today, ask yourself, what have I been afraid to try, just because I feared failure? Now go try it anyway. Because the only true failure is staying where you are. Megaphone call to action. End of part 2. If this message sparks something in you, share it with someone who needs it. Subscribe to continue the full 6-part journey. And remember, your future is bigger than your fear. Step forward, even if you fall. Because the fall is not the end. It's the start of something greater. Shall I continue with part 3? Master your inner dialogue in the same structure and tone? Clapperboard part 3. Become who you were meant to be. Align identity, action, and growth. Fire hook. Opening minute. There's a voice inside you. It speaks before you do. It tells you what's possible and what's not. It decides whether you rise or run. But what if that voice could be trained? What if it could become your greatest strength, not your loudest fear? This is not just about mindset. This is about identity. Because how you see yourself shapes how you show up in the world. Let's begin. Headphones section 1. Master your inner dialogue. You're walking into a challenge. Maybe it's a job interview, a hard conversation, or a new opportunity. Your palms sweat. Your chest tightens. Then that voice in your mind whispers, "You're not ready. You'll mess this up. Who do you think you are?" That voice can feel so real, so final. But here's what no one tells you: you are not that voice. You are the one who hears it. And you can choose to answer it differently. Instead of fear, you can speak with truth. I have earned this. I am prepared. I will grow through this. You breathe. Your heart steadies. Your steps become firm. You move forward. That's what happens when you master your inner dialogue. The world will test you, but the voice inside you, that's the one that decides if you rise or fall. When your inner voice becomes your friend, when it speaks with care, courage, and direction, you become unstoppable. Rocket section 2. Take bold, imperfect action. Most people wait. They wait for the perfect time, the perfect plan, the perfect feeling. But life doesn't reward waiting. Life rewards movement. Bold, imperfect action is how every success story begins. It's messy. It's uncertain. It's clumsy. But it's also the only way you grow. You don't need to be the best to begin. You don't need to feel ready. You don't even need a full plan. You need a decision and a single step. Because every expert was once a beginner. Every confident speaker once shook with nerves. Every success story began with doubt. So when you feel the fear, but move anyway, that's courage. Imagine this. You have an idea in your heart. It excites you and scares you. Fear whispers, "What if you fail?" But you pause. You remember why you started, and you say, "I'll try anyway." You begin. It's not perfect. It's awkward. You stumble. You doubt. But something incredible happens. You learn. You discover strength you didn't know you had. You build skill. You build confidence. And step by step, you grow into the person you only dreamed you could be. Seedling Section 3. Become obsessed with growth. There's something powerful about people who are always growing. They don't settle. They don't compare. They don't chase praise. They focus on becoming. Not becoming better than others, but becoming better than they were yesterday. They wake up asking, "Where can I improve today? What can I stretch? How can I serve at a higher level?" These people don't fear failure. They don't hide from weakness. They face it, work on it, and rise through it. Because they understand growth is not a destination. It's a way of life. Imagine this. You're offered a task you've never done before. You feel excited, but also scared. You think, "What if I mess this up?" But then you remember, growth doesn't happen in safety. It happens in the stretch. So you accept the task. You show up. You study. You try. You make mistakes. But you keep going. And a few weeks later you realize you've become someone new, more skilled, more confident, more capable. All because you chose to grow instead of hide. Busted Silhouette Section 4. Align your actions with your identity. This is where everything changes. Because your identity shapes your behavior. And your behavior reinforces your identity. If you believe you're lazy, you'll act like it. If you believe you always quit, you'll find ways to prove that belief right. But if you believe you are focused, driven, committed, you'll rise to meet that standard. So let me ask you, who are you becoming? What kind of person lives the life you want? Are they disciplined? Are they resilient? Are they honest when it's hard? Good. Now start acting like that version of yourself today. Every time you act in line with that identity, even in small ways, you rewrite your story. Your brain begins to believe it. You start to trust yourself again. That's how real change happens. Not in one giant leap, but in 1,000 small choices that match the person you want to be. Example. Rewriting your identity. Imagine this. You've always seen yourself as someone who gives up. You've tried things before, but didn't finish. Now you want to change. You picture a stronger version of yourself, steady, committed, powerful. Then one day, you don't feel like showing up. You want to skip the task you planned, but you stop. You ask, "What would that stronger version of me do?" And you follow through anyway. That one small choice, it shatters the old story, and a new one begins. Handshake Section 5. Lead with service, not ego. Now we move from self to others. Because the greatest lives are not built on ego. They're built on service. Service is quiet. It's steady. It's powerful. It's not about looking important. It's about being useful. You don't speak to be heard. You speak to lift others. You don't act to impress. You act to make a difference. That's real leadership. The world tells you to chase the spotlight. To build platforms. To seek followers. But ego is never satisfied. It always wants more. Service, on the other hand, is simple. It does what's right, even when no one's watching. It gives, and trusts that what is given will return in time. Service is not weakness. It is legacy. Sparkle's example. The choice to serve. Imagine you're invited to speak to a group of people. You can use the time to talk all about yourself, your wins, your journey, your struggles. Or you can use that moment to speak into their life. To speak to their pain, their dreams, their courage. You share lessons. You offer value. You leave them better than you found them. When you walk off that stage, they don't just remember your words. They remember how you made them feel. That's the power of service. Service doesn't shrink you. It strengthens you. Because every time you lift someone else, you rise too. You gain peace. You gain trust. You gain a life that means something. That's true success. Not applause, not approval, but impact. Compass Closing Section. The life you're building. Let's bring it all together. Master your inner voice. Let it speak truth, not fear. Take bold, imperfect action. Move, even when you don't feel ready. Become obsessed with growth. Make becoming better your way of life. Align your actions with your identity. Live like the person you say you want to be. Lead with service. Give more than you take. These are not just motivational lines. These are the bricks of a powerful, purpose-driven life. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to begin. Begin with belief. Begin with courage. Begin with service. Directed call to action. End of part 3. If this message moved you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it. Save it. Live it. Subscribe to keep going on this 6-part journey of building a powerful identity. And remember, you don't need permission to become who you were meant to be. You just need to begin acting like you already are. Your future is watching. Make it proud. Would you like me to begin writing part 4? Build morning momentum next in the same style and length? Clapperboard part 4. Command your morning. Build the day you want. Fire hook. Opening minute. Every day begins with a choice. Not just what time you wake up or what you do first, but who you decide to be. You can wake up reacting, or you can wake up leading. You can drift, or you can command your morning and shape your day with purpose. Because the first hour of your day, it writes the script for everything that follows. Let's step into that hour with power. Let's build a morning that builds your life. Sunrise. Section 1. The world wakes up in noise. You start in stillness. Most people wake up to noise. The alarm buzzes. The phone lights up. The mind rushes to yesterday's problems. Before they've even taken a breath, they're already behind. But you're going to do something different. You're going to lead your morning instead of letting the world lead it for you. Because how you begin matters. The first thoughts in your mind shape your mood, your mindset, your movement. Instead of rushing, you slow down. You breathe deeply. You take a moment before the noise. You choose stillness before speed. That stillness is not weakness. It's control. It's clarity. Because when your mind is calm, you own your energy. You respond instead of react. You start the day from your core, not from chaos. Brain section 2. Set intention before action. Imagine this. Before you even touch your phone, you ask yourself one simple question. What kind of person do I want to be today? Not what's on your to-do list. Not what people expect from you. Who do you want to be? That's where real power begins. Because when you lead with identity, not pressure, your actions follow a deeper truth. Maybe you decide, today, I will be calm, focused, confident. Today, I will show up strong, even when it's hard. Today, I will speak with care, move with purpose, think with clarity. This intention becomes your compass. So even when life throws noise, you return to that inner clarity, again and again. Right hand section 3. Declare the day you want. Now speak your morning into motion. You don't wait for the world to tell you who you are. You declare it, out loud, in writing, in your soul. I lead my life with courage. I think clearly. I move boldly. I am becoming the person I was born to be. This isn't fake confidence. This is identity shaping reality. You're reminding your mind who's in charge. Because the voice that speaks first in the morning becomes the one that speaks loudest during the day. Write it. Speak it. Feel it. Let your words rise before the world does. Broom section 4. Clear yesterday's dust before you step into the day. Pause to release the weight of yesterday. Not every day ends well. You may have missed the mark, felt overwhelmed, spoken with anger, doubted your strength. But you don't need to carry yesterday into today. Start fresh. One powerful ritual, the nightly clearing. Before bed, ask yourself, what did I learn today? What do I forgive myself for? What am I grateful for? What can I let go of now? And then sleep, not with guilt or stress, but with release. This practice creates space for your morning to begin clean. Because you can't pour energy into today if your mind is still stuck in yesterday. Counterclockwise arrows button section 5. Rituals that anchor the mind. Want to build a mindset that lasts? Anchor it with repetition. Powerful mornings don't rely on motivation. They rely on structure. Here's a simple framework. 1. Silence 5 minutes. Sit. Breathe. No noise. Let your mind settle. Point 2. Affirmation 2 to 3 minutes. Speak or write identity-based truths. I am clear. I am strong. I am focused. 3. Visualization 5 minutes. See the day going well. Feel yourself moving through it with strength. Point 4. Movement, 5 to 10 minutes stretch. Walk. Breathe deeply. Wake the body. Wake the mind. Point 5. One clear goal. Ask, what one win will move me forward today? These small steps, done with consistency, rewire your brain and build your inner foundation. They tell your mind, this day belongs to me. I am not a slave to emotion. I choose my pace. Collision Section 6. Energy follows focus. Where your focus goes, your energy flows. If you wake up and give your focus to chaos, you give your energy to chaos. If you wake up and focus on gratitude, courage, and purpose, your energy shifts into alignment. Imagine this. You walk outside in the early morning. The world is quiet. The air is fresh. You feel your feet on the ground. You speak into that silence. I am here. I am ready. I am strong. Suddenly, you are not just awake, you are alive. That's the power of intentional focus. It's not magic. It's not motivation. It's the discipline of choosing where your mind will live today. Compass Section 7. Leading your day instead of chasing it. Most people start their day behind. They wake up late. They scroll their phone. They get pulled into problems before they even find their center. But not you. You're building something different now. You're building a day that starts with leadership. You decide what matters first. You shape your inner world before the outer world touches you. And from that grounded place, you move into your tasks with calm clarity. You speak with direction. You act with discipline. You live like the person you said you'd be. This is not about doing more. It's about doing what matters first. Before the world steals your energy, you give it to your future. Repeat button. Section 8. Repetition builds identity. You will not always feel like doing this. Some mornings will be hard. Some nights you'll forget. Some days you'll want to quit. That's okay. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being devoted. Every time you choose this path, you reinforce your identity. You say, this is who I am now. I lead myself. I show up with strength. I command my day. You become what you repeatedly do. So keep going, even when it's slow, even when it's quiet, even when no one sees you, because you see you. And every morning you get the chance to prove to yourself who you really are. Glowing star. Final thoughts. Command your morning, command your life. Let's bring it home. Don't wake up in reaction. Wake up in leadership. Begin in stillness. Build inner clarity before outer chaos. Speak the day you want. Declare your identity. Release the weight of yesterday. Start fresh. Build simple rituals. Stay consistent. Focus on what matters first. This isn't just about productivity. It's about becoming. Because the person who commands their morning begins to command their future. Direct hit call to action. End of part 4. If this message helped you build your morning, share it, save it, and subscribe to keep going. Part 5 is next. We'll go deeper into identity-based decision-making, purpose, and momentum. Until then, remember, you don't need the world to be perfect to take control. You just need to wake up with purpose and act like you mean it. You've got this. Would you like me to begin writing part 5, Lead with Purpose, Build Identity Through Action next in the same cinematic style? Clapperboard Part 5, Lead with Purpose, Build Identity Through Action. Fire hook, opening minute. Purpose isn't just something you find. It's something you decide. It's something you build. And every action you take, every thought, every choice, is either building that purpose or pulling you away from it. You want a meaningful life? It starts with meaningful action. You want to become someone powerful? It starts with showing up on days you don't feel powerful at all. Let's break it down. Let's make purpose real and personal. Compass Section 1. Purpose is a direction, not a destination. So many people wait for purpose to hit them like lightning. They think they have to find it first, and only then can they act. But that's backwards. Purpose doesn't show up in your mind. It shows up in your movement. It comes when you start doing things that matter to you. Even if you're unsure. It shows up when you help someone and feel alive. When you challenge yourself and don't quit. When you try something new and think, this is it. This feels right. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just need to ask, what matters to me right now? What do I care about deeply? What pain have I lived through that I want to use for good? And then, What can I do about it today? That's purpose. Hammer and Inch Section 2. Action builds identity. Every time you act with intention, you're shaping who you are. Every single decision, to show up, to push through, to stay focused, is a brick in the foundation of your future self. Most people say, I'll act like the person I want to be once I become that person. But the truth is, you become that person by acting like them now, even when it feels fake, even when no one sees, even when it's hard. That's where transformation begins. Imagine you want to be confident. Don't wait to feel confident. Ask, what would a confident person do right now? Then do that thing. The action will build the feeling, the habit will build the belief, and the belief will build your identity. Direct Hit Section 3. The 1-degree shift that changes everything. You don't need to change your life overnight. You just need to shift 1 degree at a time. Picture a ship changing its course just 1 degree. At first, it looks like nothing. But over time, that 1-degree shift leads to an entirely different destination. Your actions work the same way. Skip 1 excuse. Keep 1 promise. Take 1 bold step. Over time, those small shifts stack. They shape your days. They change your life. Light Bulb Section 4. Every step matters, especially the small ones. The world celebrates the big wins, the trophies, the spotlight moments. But you build your life in the quiet steps no one sees. Waking up early, turning off distractions, choosing discipline over comfort, writing the plan, following through. Those are the moments where identity is built. Because when no one is watching, you are. And when you keep promises to yourself, your confidence grows. Your mind learns, I can trust me now. That's power. Seedling Section 5. Purpose grows in discipline. You don't always need more motivation. You need more devotion. You won't always feel like showing up. But that's why it matters that you do. Purpose is not about passion all the time. It's about staying committed when passion fades. Anyone can be excited on day 1. Few can keep showing up on day 50 when no one's clapping. But those few, they build greatness. They become leaders, not because of talent, but because of tenacity. Construction Section 6. Break the old identity, 1 action at a time. If you've spent years believing, I'm not disciplined, I always quit, I'm just not that type of person, that story has momentum. But here's the truth. Action rewrites stories. 1 step at a time. You don't need to erase your past. You just need to outgrow it. Every time you choose to act in line with your future self, you break the chain. You say, that was who I was. This is who I'm becoming. That's how new identity is built. Speech Balloons Section 7. The power of 1 thought, 1 choice. Your mind will always offer resistance. It will say, you're not ready. This won't work. Who are you to try this? And that's when you choose, do I listen or do I lead? 1 powerful response. Maybe I'm not ready, but I'm doing it anyway. Maybe I'll fail, but I'll rise stronger. I don't need to feel ready. I need to be willing. That shift, from fear to forward, creates inner momentum. Brain Section 8. Anchor action and meaning. You can't grind forever without purpose. That's why your actions must stay connected to your why. Ask yourself, why does this matter to me? Who will benefit if I keep going? What kind of life am I building through these small steps? Tie your actions to meaning, and you'll find energy even on hard days. Because when you remember why, you don't quit when how gets hard. Repeat Button Section 9. Purpose is a practice. This isn't a one-time decision. It's a daily devotion. Every morning you get to choose. Will I live this day on purpose, or by default? When you choose purpose, again and again, your life begins to change shape. You say no to distractions. You protect your peace. You show up even when it's not easy. And people start to notice, not because you're loud, but because you're anchored. You move differently. You speak differently. You carry yourself like someone who's going somewhere. Because you are. Glowing Star Final Thoughts. Lead with purpose. Become who you were meant to be. Let's bring it home. You don't have to wait for permission to build your life. You don't need the perfect plan. You just need to act from identity, with intention. Each small action, each quiet choice, each moment you lead yourself with discipline and heart, builds the life you were born to live. Direct Hit Call to Action. End of Part 5. If this message helped you act with purpose, share it, save it, and subscribe to keep growing. Part 6 is next, the final part. And it's all about building unshakable momentum, rising after setbacks, and creating a future driven by vision. Until then, remember, every action is a seed, every choice is a vote, every step you take is writing the story of who you are becoming. So make it count. You were made for more. Now walk like it. Would you like me to now begin writing part 6? Rise relentlessly, finish strong, and build lasting momentum in the same cinematic voiceover style? Clapperboard Part 6. Rise relentlessly, finish strong, and build lasting momentum. Firehook. Opening minute. The people who finish strong aren't always the fastest. They're the ones who refuse to stay down. The ones who rise again and again, not because it's easy, but because they made a decision. A decision to rise relentlessly. A decision to keep going, no matter what. Tornado Section 1. Life will test you. That's a promise. Setbacks aren't a maybe. They're part of the journey. You will fall. You will fail. You will doubt yourself. But those moments? They are not signs to stop. They are signs to grow stronger. The world will throw storms at you. What matters is not the storm, but your stance. Do you collapse? Or do you bend, breathe, and rise? That choice changes everything. Brick Section 2. Stack small wins. Build unstoppable momentum. Most people quit because they're chasing big wins too soon. But real momentum, it's built on small, daily victories. The morning you didn't hit snooze. The workout you finished. The tough conversation you didn't avoid. The plan you wrote down when you wanted to distract yourself. Each small win is a vote for your future. Each time you follow through, even when it's hard, you tell your brain, we don't quit anymore. This is who I am now. Momentum is not magic. It's muscle, built through repetition. One choice point, one habit point, one promise kept. That's how giants are made. Collision Section 3. Your power is in the comeback. You know what separates the successful from everyone else? Not talent, not luck, not perfect timing, but this. They get back up. Every time. They don't let failure define them. They let it refine them. They don't say, why me? They ask, what's the next move? You can fall 7 times. But if you rise the 8th, you win. That's relentless. That's power. Brain Section 4. Rewrite the story in your mind. Your mind is always watching you, always listening. So when you get knocked down, you have to speak with power. Not shame, not guilt, but truth. Say, this didn't break me. I'm still in the fight. I'm not done yet. That voice becomes your fire. That fire becomes your fuel. Imagine you've hit a wall. Everything feels heavy. You think, maybe I'm not cut out for this. Pause, breathe, then speak. This moment will not define me. I'm building something greater, and I will finish what I started. Now move. One step, then another. That's how the comeback begins. Compass Section 5. Anchor yourself in vision. When the path gets hard, you need more than motivation. You need vision. A crystal clear picture of the life you're building. Not just what it looks like, but what it feels like. Close your eyes and see it. Waking up with energy, doing work that matters, walking in peace, power, and purpose, living with no regrets. That vision becomes your anchor. When doubt rises, your vision reminds you, this is why you started. Section 6. Self-respect comes from self-leadership. Every time you finish what you started, every time you rise instead of retreat, you earn self-respect. Not from others, from yourself. And that self-respect, it's the most powerful fuel there is. You begin to trust yourself again. You stop breaking promises. You stop playing small. You start making decisions that match the person you were born to be. You don't just act with confidence. You become confidence. Because now you have proof. You've led yourself through doubt. You've risen through pain. You've stayed when others would have quit. That's identity. That's strength. Fire Section 7. Finish strong. On your terms. Finishing strong doesn't mean never struggling. It means not letting the struggle stop you. You fall, but you get back up. You fail, but you learn. You feel weak, but you still show up. That is strength. That is momentum. Don't compare your finish line to anyone else's. You don't need to go viral. You need to go true. To yourself, to your goals, to your purpose. You've already come so far. Look back, not with regret, but with respect. You've overcome. You've grown. You've faced storms and kept walking. That's a win. Now, finish strong. Seedling Section 8. Plant seeds for the future. Every action you take now is planting seeds. Seeds of discipline. Seeds of belief. Seeds of purpose. You might not see the harvest today, but if you keep planting, keep watering, keep showing up, the results will come. They always do. Maybe not fast, but always on time. The future belongs to those who prepare in the present. That's you. Speaking Head Section 9. Speak life into your future. Let's end where we began. With your voice. Speak over your life. I finish what I start. I rise when it's hard. I'm building something great. My future is worth fighting for. Say it until you believe it. Say it until it's real. Because the world doesn't give you what you hope for. It gives you what you're willing to fight for. Direct hit. Final call to action. End of part 6. If this message helped you rise, backhand index pointing right, like, share, and subscribe. Because someone else out there needs this too. This is not the end. This is the launch point. The start of a new chapter. A stronger identity. A purpose-driven life. You've learned to think bigger. To act bolder. To live with direction. Now keep going, keep rising, keep growing, keep leading, relentlessly. Your future is waiting, and it's not just bright, it's unshakable.